So today also we are going to give you see few clips which are somewhat related to mindfulness, and that means more than us, the other beings in the world also interested in mindfulness. So these clips may give some ideas for you. So one thing is on the Go Zen, that is means Go meditation like. The other one is another clip on the marshmallows test for the newcomers, and another episode of Pollyanna to learn the glad game. Okay, it is another little episode that with the very sick old lady, Pollyanna make her happy by introducing the glad game. So that's all regarding the clips are concerned. And I ask you to make some homework regarding the sound of silence. And I got already 4 letters. And so each and everyone has to write your age in the pages. Then it will be very, very valuable than without the age. So I am returning everything, all the 4. Please enter your remember those who handed over yesterday? Please enter your yours is your sound of silence was not there. May I ask you to read it? Can you read it? Yeah. So one will read her experience or her writing regarding sound of silence. That means what we did yesterday was we ring the bell and ask everyone to listen to the reducing sound or dwindling of sound or tapering of sound, and listen to the last drop. At the last drop we are listening but not hearing. So that we recognize as sound of silence. And I ask everyone to write a project and as a homework, and I got few and I read it yesterday. Now she will present her writing.
The sound of silence. As the first bell rang, my mind was still like a monkey in a cage. However, as the sound grew weaker and faded, my monkey also did the same. Therefore, I was left with a calm, peaceful and focused mind. Silence can be defined in many different ways. A one-handed clap, a song of purity, or just a moment of peacefulness. To me, silence is very important because it lets us have a calming environment away from our noisy and busy lives where our mind is not focused and is like a mad monkey. When I try to listen to the sound of silence, I mostly end up hearing my own breath because it is that quiet. Sometimes I can hear my heart beating inside my chest, but to do that, I have to be very quiet and listen closely. The sound of a one-hand clap is a pure song, a perfect song, but only you can hear the notes if we are silent. In the sound of silence, while meditating, I feel alone, but not lonely. I feel relaxed, but not excited. The sound of silence is unique in its own way and is something that one can focus on to help them feel calm, relaxed and alone. Thank you. Thero and Sarane.
You can hear that. So she mentioned when she is listening to the sound of silence, when I try to listen to the sound of silence, I mostly end up hearing my own breath. Someone else also who, when you are listening to sound of silence, can feel the breath? Is there anyone who can share this idea? When you are be silent and try to listen to the sound of silence, you can feel the breath. Is anyone also experience the same? Or only she experienced the breath in silence? No others? When you are sitting for 15 minutes and try to be with yourself, how many of you experienced the breath or felt the breath? You may raise the hand if it is just, if you can feel the breath. Yeah, higher please. No, someone raised the hand. You may raise the hand, please. The person who felt the breath. Yes. So, my question is, maybe I am too much pressing. What is the end of the out-breath? What did you feel? Another kind of sound or silence. Just like a sound is disappearing. And if you can trace back to and see how much you can trace to the end of the out-breath, it will be the greatest test in meditation. Never mind, even if you cannot, never mind, but when you are sitting and meditating, if at all you are to feel the breath, try to be with the breath, basically the out-breath, and see to the last drop of the out-breath. And when you are going deeper and deeper and deeper, you can see it is no end as such. But the thing is, there should not have any kind of outside noises, no pain, no thoughts. You must be so friendly with your breath. And today, in the medical science and neuroscience, this is, if you can trace back to the breath, to the last drop, this is kind of a healing effect. That's a kind of a therapeutic effect. So if you're going to feel, once you become old age, something called heart attack, you know? Have you heard about? So when the heart attack is at onset, if you can still feel the end of the out-breath, definitely you are better off. It won't be any attack. If you get excited, then even a doctor can't help it. So therefore, any stress, any problem happen, either listen to the sound of silence or try to be with your breath and try to see the last drop of the out-breath. Then that will be given definitely a healing effect, a therapeutic effect, but when you are in problems, very difficult to trace back to the end of the out-breath. So whenever you have free time, so-called mindful time, try to experience it, try to be friendly with it, try to be face-to-face with it, and experience how the out-breath is disappearing. And that very experience you can apply whenever you are in a stress, whenever you are in a irritation, whenever you have heart attack. Some people may say when you are in a heart attack, how to look into the breath because you become so emotional. That is why it says, before going to heart attack, if you can do it, definitely it will be very, very helpful. So therefore I am very, very happy because many of you shared with us about this sound of silence. I am going to select some of them and going to publish in our Mindful Family forum. And in this moment, I would like to announce to the parents and the elders, we started a forum called Mindful Family, and if the parents and the children are mindful, or when they are practicing mindful, they can register into our forum, and the members of the mindful families, they are writing their testimonies, something like sound of silence, or something like glad game, or something like sound of one clap, sound of that one hand clap. So these things when you are presenting, it's an enormous chance for the non-people to express their mindfulness. So when the people, those who are not exposed to mindfulness, when they are reading, they find it is not so difficult. It is not so strange thing. So therefore these your own experience and the testimonies are very, very valuable. So today, before going into the question and answer session, still like to give some homework. Is it a burden? So you have to write something about glad game. So what is the meaning of glad game? What do you feel? Did you get the idea of Pollyanna? Can someone explain the glad game for others' clarification? You? Yes? This is just to explain what does it mean by glad game. You can sit and just talk. Just.
It's finding the bright side of things under any bad circumstances. Like, it's trying to be like always happy, even if it's like a really bad event like that. Trying to find the good.
Yeah, technically speaking, it says you must try to find a reason to be glad under any circumstances. So this is more applicable to the circumstances associated with irritation, disappointments and bad luck. Under each and every situation, if you try to find a reason to be glad, your reactions to the bad thing will be stopped. But instead, mind will be engaged in finding something positive. Anyone else can help give their own idea about the glad game? So then only you know what to write tomorrow. Any one of the parents can contribute to the glad game, and so that children can do the homework with an enlightened way. Otherwise they don't know what does it mean by the glad game. Anyone who participated yesterday and day before can give little push, so they will be very aware of their homework. So what about the Pia himself? Just tell, what does it mean to you? No, I am asking Pia.
Yeah, you watch it now 2 episodes, like yesterday also you watched it. So just write what you feel from that and what you got from that.
And another version of glad game. With your experience, can you share?
Yeah, it is. In my experience is, in order to be glad all the times, I am practicing selective hearing. That is the way I do it. Something, if something coming to you very bad, right, then you just ignore it. That is the way I practice it. But you may have different techniques, and you can follow the movie. I think you also can download this movie and you can watch it again, and then you can write down. How do you practice it?
Another side of it is, that is what I mentioned, but they have practiced in America at the grade 4. They have taught the school children at the grade 4, when someone is teasing you, when someone is irritating you, when someone is hurting you, if you get angry, you are the loser. So you must try to keep your stream of consciousness non-reactional and not to get angry. That is the game. So these things you may write according to your own little experiences. I think it will be accumulative for our Mindful Family Forum. Now we are going to open this question and answer session. And no more chocolates?
Do you need? Do we need chocolate? But we got some chocolate. Okay.
What's the goal? What's the goal of meditation?
You can repeat the question, please, again.
That means why do you do meditation? What's the goal of meditation?
What's the goal of meditation? So I would say, what's the goal of mindfulness? Anyone can answer? You get my question? What is the goal of mindfulness, not the meditation? What's the goal of mindfulness? No, I am asking you. You understand what is the goal of mindfulness?
Yeah.
You have an answer? I am questioning you, not the goal of meditation. I am asking the question, what is the goal of mindfulness? I have an answer, or they are ready to give answer? If you have, I will give the first chance to you. Okay, you may pass the mic.
To be aware of what you're doing. Aware of what you're doing.
So mindfulness means to be aware what you do. So therefore goal is to know things as they are. Whatever it is happening, just like in the Go Zen, this is either you are in the past or in the future, but in the mindfulness you are understanding what is happening right under your very nose. Questions? Answer. Yes, you can give the past. This is the answer. She is answering. What is the goal of mindfulness?
Keeping your mind in one place.
You are try to be?
So keep your mind on one object or thing.
Yeah. So when it is kept with one particular object, what did you get? What is your benefit? That is her question. So keeping okay, once kept, once you achieved, what is the benefit? What is the purpose? What is the advantage of keeping the mindful mind in one place? That is the question. Can you answer? You have answer? Now the question is, mindfulness is be aware of the present, and she is telling, be aware of the object, whatever it may be. Then being aware of that object, what is the purpose? What is the benefit you are going to get? So this is the way we are finding our own answers to the mindfulness, not to the meditation. So I would like to replace the mindfulness instead of meditation.
Is walking meditation and sitting down meditation like basically the same thing?
Mindfulness-wise the same, but the posture-wise different. In sitting, you do nothing, no intention. But in walking, you do intentional walking. But on both circumstances, you try to be aware. You try to be mindful. So therefore, they have to go hand in hand alternatively. But the best thing is to do walk and then come to the sitting. But what we did today is opposite. But if you come to participate in a one-day program, often what we do is first do walking meditation and then come and sit. Purpose in the both is to be mindful. Pour chocolate then.
Does walking meditation does walking meditation keep your mind in one place?
So that you have to understand, keeping one place is while you are moving, what does it mean by one place? You can say one object, that is, when you are walking, you know walking. When you are sitting, you know sitting. So in figuratively we say, in one place, it's better to say on one object.
Is walking meditation and the sitting meditation popular? But are they both popular, or is one popular?
I didn't get not clear the question. Is the walking meditation or sitting meditation, which one is popular? Yeah, it depends. For my understanding, among the Buddhist circles, born Buddhists, they recognize sitting as meditation, sitting as mindfulness. They don't recognize walking as meditation. But in Western countries, non-Buddhist, they are very happy to do with walking meditation than sitting. But that is the way different cultures have different values. So you have to practice and see which one is more conducive, more supportive for your meditation, more your mindfulness. When you do sitting and walking, what do you like most? Sitting or walking? You?
I like sitting.
Sitting. So how many minutes, how many seconds you can sit and wait without distracting the mind? How many minutes or how many seconds?
I'm not quite sure.
How many seconds or how many minutes you can do keep on walking meditation? How many steps you can walk mindfully?
A lot.
10 steps?
More than 10 steps.
Yeah. So that is the way you have to understand how does your mind is appreciating the meditation, sitting or walking.
When you do meditation, how could you try to stop, how could you try to not think about other things and only think about the one thing?
This is a question for meditators, specifically for the regular meditators. The way the Buddha gave is, the other things are natural to come, but how many thought moments, how many seconds, how many minutes you can be with your sitting posture. More and more you with the sitting posture, less and less outside thoughts, less and less pains, less and less sounds. So therefore more and more you practice, you must try to find a ways and means to keep the attention with your sitting posture, or when you are in walking posture. That when you do more and more attentive, more and more mindful sitting and walking, less and less distracting thoughts.
Can meditation calm anger or any other feeling?
Can meditation
calm anger or any other feeling?
Can meditation come? Yes. In meditation only you understand your monkey mind. Sometimes anger comes and goes. Sometimes desire comes and goes. Sometimes pain come and go. Sometimes sounds come and go. So you start bookkeeping. You understand what is coming in, what is going out. You are not meditating, you don't know. Correct? So that means you understand who am I. What is happening in my shop. Who is coming and who is going out.
When you do meditation, can you count your breath, or do you have to have a pure mind?
One thing is supporting others. If you can meet up with the breath, if you can face to face with the breath, that means it's a very clear sign mind is mindful. In order to promote it, you can count it, how many breaths I can do. Suppose you can only go for 5 breaths. Then next time you can make a determination, okay, how and when I can go to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and the next 6. Likewise, counting is increasing. Otherwise, if the mind is naturally with the breath, you can just observe the pure mind without counting. That means it is provided with mind is always with the in-breath and out-breath. Do you feel the breath when you are closing your eyes and sitting? And how do you know the mind is with the breath?
Because I can track down my breath.
So then when you are track downing your breath, do you know now you are in in-breath, not out-breath?
Yeah, because if I take my breath in, I take it from my nose, and if I'm going out, I take it from my mouth.
How you discriminate, separate, this is in-breath, not out-breath, this is out-breath, not in-breath, can you see the difference?
Sort of.
No? Is it possible thing for you to do? When you are in breath, you know I am in breath, not out breath. When you are in out breath, you know I am in out breath, not in breath. So that is the way you sharpen. First you track down the breath, so that you know you are not in the past, you are not in the future, you are not in other places, other things. But whenever the breath comes, you go analytically or reduction. This is in-breath, not out-breath. And then you can note when in-breath is there, no out-breath. Agreed? When out-breath is happening, no in-breath. The moment you can give the discrimination or description, well done. So Pia is only giving chocolate to the first 2 rows. Yes.
If you are if you are a very unhappy or ill-tempered person for a long time, does that make an impact on how mindful you are or your meditation? And why does it do that? If it
you
does.
have to just give I will give a situation, so you will clear me. So you are talking about a meditator or non-meditator?
Non-meditator.
Non-meditator is very angry and it is short-tempered. You are asking, is it easy for him to do mindfulness introduction or not? Is this your question?
Yes. Is it is it easier for him to do is it the same as a peaceful person? And
absolute terms, in reality, yes. But the approach to give that idea to that particular person, peaceful person by accept and welcome is more than the angry person. But when and where you become mindful and observe, angry and the peace is 2 different things in the same mind.
yeah.
So, but the very difficult thing is to introduce, because short-tempered people never try anything. So teachers won't happy with them. But they are also human beings. One day they also can be very peaceful people.
Okay.
When was meditation invented?
When was meditation?
Invented.
That was, theoretically it says, about 6,000 years ago, some were not happy with this sensuous life or these luxuries. They started go to the forest and try to be with the natural environment. And when it is happening, they found mind is less and less with the stress, less and less with the tension. Therefore, before the Buddha come into being, the meditation was there. If you remember, the Prince Siddhartha, when he goes out, he saw 4 signs: a sick person, old age, death, and a sermon, the hermit. That was already meditating person even before the Buddha. So invention was very, very far away. But I would like to introduce one particular thing in this respect. The invention of insight meditation is exactly about 2600 years ago. The invention of insight meditation, understanding things as they are, only invented by the Buddha, as well as it is been recognized as 2600 years ago almost.
So in the listening the silent sound, listening to the sound of silence, is it easy to similar one?
Listening to the sound of silence, is it easy to introduce mindfulness?
Yeah.
So this is, sound of silence is one technique. There are a lot of techniques. When you are listening to the sound of silence, monkey is back at home. Otherwise monkey is mad, jumping out. So therefore, sound of silence is one technique to bring the monkey inside, bring the monkey at home, but don't think it is the only method. There are a lot of methods, but I wanted to introduce this to the children and see what is the response.
Oh, is it better to hear your breath, like?
Yeah, so that you are correct. Some people, the breath can be a technique to be mindful, to technique to bring the monkey mind to inside. Some people say rising and falling of the abdomen. Some people see left leg and the right leg. And the Buddha mentioned when you are eating, when you are looking forward, looking back, any place, if you are aware of it, it's a technique.
Just to follow up on his question, weren't there another 27 Buddhas in this kalpa, which means that they would have also taught insight meditation?
I didn't get the question.
Weren't there previous Buddhas which also...
Yeah. So it was there, but that has no written history, but mention was there. But this one, among all the religious masters, the written history or archaeological proven facts, we know only the Gautama the Buddha. So therefore it is safer, we ask to say, the invention of insight meditation was attributed to the Buddha, and time-wise it is 2600 years ago, based upon the recorded history, archaeologically proven. Others are, yes, maybe, but it is deductive, it is inferential, we can't prove it.
Does mindfulness help with learning, such as going to school, campus, university, stuff?
So yesterday I quoted one of the phrases of the Buddha. He attributes of the mindfulness, he says, chirakatampi, chirabhasitampi, sarita, anusarita. Whenever you try to be mindful, the imprintement, the impingement or imprintment is very sharp. So if you are mindful, things you have heard and talked much before can lucidly remember. It's a very good for the students when you go to the exams. If you can remember easier, you can write the scripts. So, and there's one thing. Second thing is, when you are trying to be mindful, the mind is really creative. That's also helpful you to bring up your endowment, your natural abilities, so that they become very, very genuine. So mindfulness keep the mind open. So nowadays, 3 lines they have tried. In America, United Kingdom, one thing for the Ministry of Education, the other one is the Health Ministry, that is to fast recovery of the people. The third one is to recovery of the criminals. All the 3, but I thought of introducing this to the school children, because very easy to prove the mindful children are very smart in the schools. Not only in education, but in the extracurricular work also. That means sports and kind of thing. So therefore, we being inherited with the Buddhism, I thought of giving the priority for the schools because of your question. It's easy for the children to achieve their academic targets.
Why did we watch the movie?
Why did we watch the movie? That is to introduce the glad game, because it has been invented, it's almost 100 years ago, to introduce positive thinking. Not to worry about the bad thing, not to worry about the irritation, but instead be creative. So that is the glad game, that is why Pollyanna. The other one is that cartoon is basically or mainly to introduce mindfulness. So these things will indicate not only we in Buddhist, but the other people in the world also appreciate this idea. And they are sometimes more advanced than us. So by copying and listening, we are becoming a member of the whole universe. So therefore, I thought it is a good idea. මේ බැරි කට්ටියට කෑ ගහනවා මේ ඉස්සරහින් ඉන්නව ගොඩක් පිල්ලනවා.
There are some big things. I want to get some answers from them, questions from them.
Why do we get distracted when we're doing schoolwork?
Distracted, that is the monkey mind. So unless otherwise you give a schoolwork, monkey mind is very happy and playful and mischievous. So we call children. But when you go to the school and focus, then only you can see the monkey mind, how much we are distracted and how much it is unruly, how much it is ungovernable. So this understanding of this non-governable nature, understanding this unruly nature, help you to understand who am I. Otherwise we don't know. The monkey mind is jumping from one to the other, we don't know. When you focus to the mindfulness or to the study, then we can understand how much distraction we are in our day-to-day life.
How many types of meditations are there?
How many
types of meditations are there?
The type of meditation, basically it says insight meditation and calm meditation or concentration, and within the concentration the Sri Lankan type of Theravada Buddhism has 50 meditative objects. As far as the insight meditations are concerned, no number of any object can be object of meditation, but anyway basically 2 types, Samatha, Vipassana. Samatha is called tranquility or concentration, and the Vipassana is called insight. These are the basic 2 lines.
How do you be mindful about the things you say?
How do you How do you be mindful?
About the things you say.
No, I didn't get to your question. You may repeat, please.
How do you be mindful about the things you say?
When I am talking. Yes. It's a hell of a question. I will give you one good example. First time I went to the Burma, I went to the Chamiyeta, that means the World Peace Organization, and Sayadaw was not there, and we foreigners went there and meditated. Only one day, I saw a child, a young boy, a very brilliant one, disrobed and went there. No, after disrobing, came to the pay respect to the Sayadaw. I also was there occasionally. You know, there is a temporary monkhood in Burma. Temporarily they can become monks and again disrobe. When he comes, the mother gave a very nice episode. He was very efficient in mindfulness. One way of expressing mindfulness is one thing at a time, and that done well. You get the point?
Yeah.
And he has gone to the arithmetic class. And he was listening what the teacher is telling, listening, but he never digests what the teacher is telling. He is aware, he is listening. But earlier he was a very bright, mindful, very bright math student. But tried to be mindful about the teacher's voice, he lost the lesson. And then the teacher was very upset and complained to the teacher, mother, telling earlier he was very sharp and very agile in listening, but after being mindful, he is aware of the teacher's voice, not the content. That can happen. So it's very interesting. Whenever you try to mindful, you don't know the content of it. You know I am listening, you know I am seeing, you know I am touching, but the content, and the best way to answer is, when you do one thing, you are close to the rest of the world. So when you are listening, you can't hear. When you are listening, you can't see, you can't smell, you can't think. No deductive thinking. So only one thing. So this is a kind of a mechanism in our mind. So therefore, when we are doing meditation, we are not going to listen anything. Before going into that, we get instructions and go and sit and try to implement them. But while you are listening, while you are sitting, if you are going to listen, it's a difficult task. So my teacher, when I was learning at the second year in the university, so I also go and went to the lectures and try to be mindful, and I found I am missing the bus. So I went there and complained. He told, when you are doing and listening, don't try to be that, just try to be just normal student. Do practice mindfulness when you are doing nothing. Good question. So 5 minutes more.
Sometimes when I have consecutive exams, I often find myself thinking about the previous exam when I'm trying to do the one after. Is there a way to prevent that? Is that part of mindfulness, or?
I didn't get the message, get the question. What I gathered was that when you are going to practice mindfulness, mind is daydreaming and going to the past. Am I correct?
Yep.
Yeah. So did you see the clip? The person is telling what is happening in the office. When the person go to the office, he is so upset about what happened yesterday, so he can't attend to the work. So when you are exactly the same, when you try to mindful, you understand the monkey mind. So my question is to you, understanding of your monkey mind is advantageous or disadvantageous?
It's an advantage. Advantage.
No. So, for example, if you have a brain cancer, brain tumor, and diagnosis of that brain cancer tumor is good or bad?
It's bad.
Why? But now only you can treat it because you know. Otherwise you may be thinking that you are a healthy person, but tumor is fast growing. So therefore diagnosis of anything is only very bright side of our human mind. What you diagnose is different, but diagnosis itself is the way for recovery, way for healing. So therefore understanding I have monkey mind, it's never negative. So therefore this is a kind of positive thinking only the Buddha introduced to the world. Therefore you must change your mind. You must ready for new things. Anything, the truth as it is, knowledge is never hurting you. It's always beneficial.
Do we have to do left and right in walking meditation? Is it okay?
I didn't get the question. Walking meditation and the left and the right, that part I listen. But what is the question? Please, you may repeat.
Do we have to do left and right in walking meditation?
No, looking at the left and right is a technique. But if you can understand when you are walking, you are not sitting. If you can understand when you are walking, you are not standing. If you are not sleeping, that's enough. I am walking, I am not sitting, I am not standing, I am not sleeping. And in order to keep the mind with walking only, you may take either left and the right, or your movements, or your weight, whatever it may be. One person asked me yesterday, not to the children program, so now when I walk, I feel the pressure on the left leg and the right leg. Then what? What does it mean? Then I told that's a very clear indication mind is mindful. Mind is with the body. So that's a benefit.
Thank you.
When was the Glad game made?
It was recorded in 1918 in America, based upon the book known as Poriana. And later, now each and every year, I heard, it is screened to the whole nation to understand the positive thinking. The very first day I read it, wherever I go to the bookshop, I purchase them in bulk and distribute among the children just to read. But lucky enough, now we have the film, now we have the book, so it's a very good English. So she gave me one book, and it is with P. Amatya. And if one wish to borrow, you can take it. Or otherwise, Chitra promised me to purchase about 10 books, and it will be available with P. Amatya. Please take time and share it with. Based upon Pollyanna book only, this film came into being. The book came into 1919, that means about 98 years ago, but later on the film came into being.
Why was the Glad game made?
That is to introduce positive thinking. When something goes wrong, don't be negative, don't get angry, don't find fault with you, don't find fault with others. Instead, try to find a reason to be glad, then you are healthy. Mind is healthy. That's called positive thinking in common language, modern language. Almost 7 o'clock. So only the chocolate without questions. And before ending the session, I would like to remember the homework. Remember? You may write if you know any episode or your own testimony, glad game, related to your life or whatever it may be what you gathered in the Pollyanna. And the same way, when you are writing, please write your name as well as the age, and then I will be reading them, and I will try to select them and publish in this Mindful Family Flyer.
Okay.
You're right.
Okay, now.
So very, very much happy to participation and expect tomorrow also. Please come. Sukhi hotu, abhivadana silissa niccang vadda pachayino, chattaro dhamma vaddanti ayuvanno sukhang balang. Ayurarogya sampatti sakka sampatti mevacha ato nibbana sampatti minati samijjatu.